This is Illumination with Kova, and I'm here to spell it out. Well, guys, it's been a long week. I learned this week about murder hornets. Murder hornets. Now, what murder hornets are, all right, they're these things from Japan. They are called Japanese giant hornets, giant wasps. These things are big. They're like 2 inches in length, 2 inches. The biggest winged stinged insect in the world. Now, I'm not saying I'm to blame for murder hornets, but about a week and a half before I found out that murder hornets were in the United States, I found a picture of a murder hornet and I was like, it would be awful if these things landed in the United States. I couldn't think of anything worse, right? Well, check one off for Apocalypse Bingo because they showed up. Now, what we got to think of, right, is sometimes our thoughts and reality coincide. Why? Why is this? Because of frequency, right? Because of these things that we do, these thoughts that we have, they have consequences in the real world. So when I think to myself, I suck, I have no talent, I'm worthless, that's going to affect my brain chemistry, which is going to affect my whole body. And those things, those frequencies I'm putting out can affect the people around me, right? So when we have these thoughts, we have to realize that our thoughts have consequences in the real world. Now, it's kind of like a radio. When you tune a radio, right? You tune these things and get to a specific station, and it picks up the radio wave that's to that specific frequency. And we can change our entire life, the structure of our entire life and our entire reality, just based upon our thoughts, based upon the frequencies that we put out there. Now, this isn't something that I have just stumbled into. It's something I've researched. It's something that I've studied. And hello, Deborah Smith. Welcome to the program. It's great to see you. Now, we talk about law of attraction, right? That is one way that we can word this concept, the law of attraction. So it's kind of like the story of the guy who was sick, and the doctor prescribed him sugar pills and said, this is going to make you better. And because he thought it, he got better because the body is designed to heal itself. But you got to have the right amount of belief. Now, magic, as we know it, Magick, spelled with a K to differentiate from sleight of hand. Magic is probability control through will and intent. But first, you have to have the thoughts. Okay, you have to have the will behind the thoughts. And you have to really just focus and think. But sometimes our thoughts are powerful depending on how we think. So my thoughts have consequences. And what's even more shocking, folks, is your thoughts have consequences. Because the microcosm, what happens inside, is a universe for out here. It's a map of the universe itself. So when our microcosm changes, our macrocosm changes. And the more of us that get on the same page, the more change we'll see in the world. And that's why it's very important that you bring people into this program. That's why it's important for you to reach out to people, especially if you support the program and you like what is being said on this channel specifically. That's important to pull them in so we can all have the same microcosmic change, so that we all can change the macrocosm, so we can change the world, so we can shape the universe. That's why it's important to share, because we're trying to make a movement in this world, trying to get people all on the same page of this concept of love, on the same page of the concept of self development, of liberation from spiritual bondage, to set people free from their oppressors. Frequency, this concept, that our thoughts impact everything. It's a powerful concept. It is as deep or shallow as you allow it to be. The Kabbalion says everything vibrates. Everything has a vibrational frequency. Every human being has a frequency of which their body resonates with. This is a proven scientific fact. We are like radio transponders. The only reason why our soul is connected to this body is because our transponder is putting it off. Now, there's this whole other concept out there where if you can change your frequency, you can change into different points of time or different people and all that sort of stuff. But that's like way out there things. And if people want me to talk about that at some later date, I can't. But today, we're just going to talk about manifestation, what we manifest into our life. Now, it goes into so much. It goes into so much that people don't understand that even these thoughts we have about other people, or the thoughts about our yard, or the thoughts about ourselves can impact the world at large. You know, maybe I wasn't to blame for murder hornets. But what if my thoughts enabled it to happen? We need to be very mindful of the thoughts that we have. And in doing so, when we are mindful of these thoughts and we discipline our thought life, when we discipline ourselves, self-discipline is equitable to self-love. When we discipline these thoughts to only put forth positive thoughts and thoughts that we want to see come into reality, we start seeing a major shift in our world. We start seeing a major shift in the world around us. I want you to really think about that. Because honestly, every business person will tell you success is a mindset. You'll be successful or you won't. The question is, when you go out to conquer something, you go out to do something, how are you talking to yourself? How we talk to ourselves greatly impacts our chance at survival, our chance at success. Success is a mindset. You can talk yourself into or out of anything. Are you going to stay with your abuser? Are you going to get that promotion? Are you going to stay to that diet? Are you going to be successful at everything you do? It is my belief, every single one of these programs, I'm going to change one life per program. I believe every day that I walk this earth, I'm going to make an impact on this earth. The reason for that is because it's my mindset. So what I'm manifesting. It's the frequency that I'm on. I want to be a world changer. And that starts here. It starts inside. If we do not first start with ourselves, we'll never be able to do anything else for anybody. There's people that support this vision. These people that they tune on regularly, those of you that are here right now with us, and those who can't be here right now but will be watching later. It's you that are making things possible. It's you that is opening up doors. My big vision that I have is 1 billion people in unity in this lifetime. 1 billion. Imagine what? 1 billion people with a single-minded focus of spreading love, spreading light, and helping the world evolve could do. We've seen what a handful of bad people can do. What about 1 billion world changers? What then could we do? What then if 1 billion of us started talking to ourselves a little bit differently? What if 1 billion of us started deciding success was a mindset and we were going to manifest change for the better of humanity? That we were going to raise humanity up to be better? What then? I'm going to tell you what would happen. The world as we know it would cease to exist because things would change. Aren't you tired people just backbiting and hurting each other? Aren't you tired of being your own defeatist? There's a need for a change, and it starts at home. It starts within. What I offer people isn't anything new. It's not something that's different. I offer encouragement and I point the way. Ultimately, people can do all this by themselves. They don't need me. I'm not a necessity, but I am a very loud sign. And sometimes it takes accountability. Sometimes it takes someone to be like, you can do this. I believe in you to make it happen. Because there's no reason to go it alone. Life is hard enough, folks. Life is so hard. It will beat you down. It will grind you up until there is nothing left and it has taken everything from you. But what if it didn't have to be that way? What if 1 billion of us stood together and raised each other up? What if that was our frequency? What if that was what we were aiming to manifest? To set people free of spiritual bondage and oppression, to liberate the minds of 1 billion people to stand together. And I promise you, if we can get 1 billion together, we can get 2 billion. We can change this world if we work together. And there's some people like, well, if it could happen, why hasn't it happened already? Maybe it just wasn't time. Maybe this is the time. Maybe the universe and the world has waited for you to step up. What if the success of the universe and the world's evolution was dependent on you? And you'd be thinking, well, that's impossible. Is it? Is it really so far to think that you have cosmic significance? No one, no all. As above, so below. The macrocosm is a map for the microcosm. The inner universe is the outer universe. We see this in the Sri chakra. To believe in yourself, to manifest these things, deals with frequency. I have a friend of mine. He's dealing with some psychic warfare. He's getting beaten down with nightmares. He's dealing with curses. And he's contemplating ways to strike back because he's got so much anger and hurt. Of course he's angry. These people are coming against him. Of course he's hurt. He just wants to be the best person that he can. But what people don't realize is when we hate and when we hold on to anger, we're hurting ourselves. Because there is no separation between you and me. There is no separation. If people understood when they hurt one person, they're only hurting themselves because there is no separation. This concept that individuals are disconnected is a lie. Because the macrocosm is a map for the microcosm. So when you hurt somebody else, you're hurting yourself. One is all is one. So when we do these things, we're manifesting changes within ourselves. When we do things in the outer world, when we put stuff out, we're doing stuff that's going to impact us within. It's the same thing. We can adjust our frequencies by our actions. But actions are manifested through thought. So how do we fix these things? How do we fix our frequency? How do we get out of these ruts of hatred, anger, and pain, and all this messed up ideology? How do we get set free? I wish I had a really easy answer. And I do, to an extent. There is a really easy answer. But it's hard work. You know, Jesus said, love your enemies, right? Easy answer. Hard fucking work. And I apologize for cussing. I shouldn't cuss. I apologize. I got too real for a second. But it's hard work. It's not easy. I don't approach you as a heathen or a pagan. I don't approach you as a person who doesn't stand with the church or is not Christian or who is Christian. I approach you as a person who wants to see you succeed and build yourself up. What is it going to take for you to get out of that rut that you're in? And the answer is a choice to your self development, a choice to your evolution, a choice to being set free. That is what it's going to take. You'll either stay as you are or you'll change. There's a phrase in science called dormant. It means alive but not growing. I never want to be dormant in my development. And as Maurizio knows, I'm constantly pushing myself. I have a lot of love for Maurizio. I have a lot of love for every single person who is trying to make this world a better place. I have a love for my enemies. All I want to do is set people free. If I set them free, they won't do those things that hurt others, and thus they will no longer hurt me. Now, I'm not saying there aren't bad people out there. I'm not saying that there aren't people who make horrible choices and harm others. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it's any one person's fault if they got hurt or abused. I'm not saying that either. But what I am saying is it's your responsibility to pick yourself up. It's your responsibility for how you deal with those traumas. And we just have to take it one step at a time. And it's really, really hard sometimes to pick ourselves up. It's really difficult sometimes to make the right choice. If you're diabetic, not eating the donut. If you're lactose intolerant, not eating the cheese. And I'm guilty of eating the cheese. I eat the cheese all the time, even though I know I'm going to suffer later. Why do we choose suffering over what's good for us? Because that's what our frequency is on. We have to make better choices, and it starts with our thoughts. I start my people on a very, very simple regimen of meditation. And they're starting to notice with a little bit of meditation every day, their entire life changes. Their entire life changes with just making a couple small changes. Because if you're going to build something, you focus on the task at hand the best that you can. Don't fall asleep at the wheel. Don't go on autopilot. So when we're captivating our thoughts and we notice that we've fallen asleep at the wheel and we were allowing ourselves to put out these thoughts of negativity, these thoughts of defeatism, then we've already lost if we allow it to continue. We have to push people. We have to push. We have to push. We have to persevere, and we can't quit. We're in this fight together because you're not alone. Solitude is possibly the most destructive thing to a spirit. For those who know my story, know I have spent a significant amount of time by myself. Now, did I obtain hermetic gold through that process? Did I go through the black phase of alchemy into the red phase and harvest the gold? Yes, I did. But it was at a very great cost that I'm able to be here to speak to you today. When I wanted to be able to be put in a position where I could change the world, when I wanted to impact billions directly, and I put that thought into action, I never thought of what the cost would be. To be able to talk to you today it's cost me everything. To be able to be the man I am today, to bring you a message of hope, to bring you a message of love, it's cost me everything. It has come at no small cost to be able to love you. But if I can change lives, if I can help you elevate your frequency, elevate yourselves, it was worth it. And what we have to understand is there are very basic things that we can do to elevate ourselves. Because how are you going to change your frequency if you just go haphazard around it? A radio has a dial, a TV has a remote. Where's the controls on this thing called life? There's some of us who are very, very talented in the spiritual world. There's some of us who have mundane talents who are extremely gifted. I play 8 instruments. I sing, I write, I do all these things that I'm very naturally inclined to do. I'm also naturally inclined in the world of the occult, with psychic abilities and things of that nature. But how did I learn to fine tune these things? I studied. I picked up a book, picked up hundreds of books, put myself in a couple $1,000s worth of debt in order to pick up those books. Because I would often choose to read rather than having money to eat. I went hungry a lot so I could study. I chose my enrichment to be able to help others by elevating myself over enriching my body and having extra food and comfort. And that was a sacrifice worth making. It absolutely was. I mean, I trust me, folks. I eat plenty now. I'm not fit as a fiddle or anything. I promise. I got a little bit of extra storage. So I'm doing okay in quarantine. But you got to study. Innate talent. We never rest on your laurels. Because sometimes ignorance can deceive intuition. It is through the fire of knowledge that intuition is forged and gnosis is discovered. And then you got the practice. You got to put stuff into place. I wish there was a really easy answer for developing yourself other than read the work, do the books, and do the work. Just do the work. Do it. Work hard. I wish it was easier, right? Because if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. The path of the initiate is a path of the death of the self. But it's these frequencies that we choose to go further, consistently making the right choice to get us where we want to be. I believe in every single one of you, and I'm available if you need help. I have some people who are on the track with me and are really pushing themselves, and I'm seeing them grow, and I am so proud of them. Genuinely, I am so impressed by these people that I'm working with at just what they can do and who they are as people. It's a really beautiful place I found myself in. It's cost me everything, but man, it's miraculous. And you know what? We're all going to do it together. Now, the show is going to be relocating to a different time of the week. I don't know when yet. And also, my backdrop's going to change because I'm going to be shifting my studio into a different spot. So, some exciting changes are coming. I am so excited for these next few chapters of my life, of our lives together. So, what you want to definitely do, if you want to be a part of this journey, you need to first and foremost make sure you're subscribed. There's the YouTube, and then there's also the Facebook channel. If you're on the Facebook, you can make sure to set up your notifications to get notified every time we go live. And then what you want to do is if you support this vision of a better world where everyone helps each other, where we all raise our frequencies together, share. You got to have someone out there that needs a message of hope. There's got to be someone out there that that's a mess that needs your help. Maybe you don't have the time, but you can share the video to them so they can get some help, so they can get inspired, so they can pick themselves up. So make sure to share. It's important. And I believe in all of you so much. It's going to be okay. We're going to get through this. And I'm not just talking about the pandemic, I'm talking about life. Life is so hard. And you've been hard enough on yourself. Maybe it's time you love you. Maybe it's time you forgive yourself. Maybe those words I just said wasn't for everybody, but they could have been for someone very specific. We don't know who's at the end of their rope out there, folks. We got to love with a heart that's wide open. Got to treat each person like they're significant. Some of us really mess up. I don't deny that. But in Buddhism, they say that we're all operating out of our own blindness. That's the best way that we know. And you can try to twist that any way you want, but the truth is, we're all just spiritual beings having a human experience, and only some of us have somewhat of an idea what we're doing, but most of us are blind and we're stumbling through. Let's be a light for others. Let's change our frequency. Let's be forged in the fire of initiation and grow. Just there's nothing else beyond that. It's all about love. It's all about growing. I believe in you. You can do it. And thank you for the amount of time that you've given me. It was a gift. So as always, I'm Kova, and I've spelled it out.